Hi everyone, my name is Elena. I am a CSIL coach at the Center for Student Involvement and Leadership, and today I'm going to be showing you a how-to for filling out travel paperwork. So firstly, what is a travel event? A travel event is classified as any activity or event leaving John Jay property. This includes museums, zoos, amusement parks, Broadway shows, etc. Travel requests must be sent in 45 business days in advance of the trip. So the following is what you will need for your travel request. First is the travel quote. The second is the check request. Third is the CUNY off-campus student travel approval form. Fourth is the event request form for online student liability waiver. And lastly, you will need an oral bid. This is only needed if you're using private transportation for your trip. I will now be going over what the check request form looks like and what it entails. So it lets you put your chosen vendor name along with the vendor information. This is their address and their phone number. You will also put the actual amount, so how much your trip will cost, the account name and number, the budget name, which is your club name, a detailed description of your event, so the event information, so the event title, the date, time, and location. I will now be going over the CUNY off-campus student travel approval form. So this form details your trip sponsor's information, your chaperone's information, and all the details about your event. So this is for your trip sponsor to fill out. Even though it is for them to fill out, I will still be going over the details of it. So as I said before, the first portion is for your sponsor's information, so their name, cell phone number, email. Second is for your chaperone, so their name, the title of their position at the college, a cell phone number, and email. Next is the purpose of your travel, where you were going, when you were going, what time. Lastly is your transportation. So if you are taking transportation, you will need to list that along with their details. And lastly is for your trip sponsor to sign. Next, we'll be going over the event request form for online student liability waiver. So you will list your club name, a contact person from your club, their phone number. You will then list the event information, so the event date and time, number of students participating, the event location. You will then put the event description, so what will be taking place at your event, what is the purpose of it. Next is the ticket distribution method, so how you will be giving out the tickets. And lastly is the chaperone contact information. Distribution. So now we'll be moving into our step-by-step example, but first let's go over the steps for travel paperwork. Step 1 is getting your travel quote. Step 2 is finding a chaperone. Step 3 is filling out the check request form. Step 4 is having your sponsor fill out the CUNY off-campus student travel approval form. Step 5 is filling out the event request form for online student liability waiver. And step 6 is compiling all these documents into a single packet. So, as I mentioned previously, your step 1 will be getting your travel quote. After choosing your vendor for your travel event, you must obtain a quote from them. This will detail when the event is, where it is, what time, and how much it will cost. For this example, I will be using the Women in Cybersecurity's travel event to Spicegate. As you can see to the right of the screen, I have their quote that they obtained from Spicescape. So they have the company name up top, along with the event date and time, the location of Spicescape, along with how much the event will cost. So they purchased 30 tickets for a total of $3,500. So when obtaining a quote, it needs to look similar to the one that Women Cybersecurity obtained. So it has to have the event date, time, location, the company information up top, so the company name it could be, and how much the event will cost without tax. Step 2 will be finding your chaperone. All trips require a chaperone. There must be one chaperone for every 20 students. Chaperones have to be a CUNY faculty or a CUNY staff member. You will also need a trip sponsor. They are responsible for reviewing your travel request, making sure it abides by the domestic travel policy, and ensuring that the trip has a chaperone. The trip sponsor will most likely be your club cohort leader. We will now be moving on to the check request form for your travel packet. So, again, I am using the example from the Women in Cybersecurity Spyscape event. So, they have their vendor name, which is Spyscape, their address, and the company phone number, the actual amount of the event. So, as we saw on the quote, it was 3,500. So, in their actual amount, they put 3,500, along with the account name and number, their budget name, which is their club name, a detailed description of the event, so the event title, the event date and time, the location, and in their notes they put what the travel is for and where and what they will be doing. We will now be moving on to step 4, which is having your sponsor fill out the CUNY off-campus student travel approval form. So when filling out this form, they will put their name, their title, the name of the college, cell phone number, and email. They will then fill out the name of your chaperone, the title of them, the name of the college, their cell phone number, and their email. Next, we're moving on to the event information, so where you'll be going. This instance, it will be Spyscape, name of the travel event or activity. So they listed the activities, mini games, interactive museum. Describe the nature of the activities involved in the trip. So in this section, they put the activities that will be taking place during the trip, the purpose of travel, so education, fun, involvement, networking, number of students attending. So for this travel trip, it was 30 students. When they were departing, so April 15th, the time they were leaving is 1:30. Returning was the same day, so April 15th, and they were coming back at 6 o'clock. For transportation for this event, since Spyscape is close by to the college, they chose walking, so they do not have to fill out any travel details because they are not taking private or public transportation. And lastly is just for your trip sponsor to sign. Moving on to step 5, which is filling out the event request form for online student liability waiver. So they filled out their club name, which was Women in Cybersecurity, and then they put their contact person, which was the president from their club. So they put their name, phone number, and email. Next is the event information, so when it is taking place and where. Next is how many students are participating. So in this case, it was 30 students, and their event description. Next is the ticket distribution method, so how they were giving out tickets. For this case, it was first come, first serve. And lastly, they put their chaperone contact information, so their chaperone name, their email, and their phone number. So besides all of your forms, you will also need an event flyer. It needs to include your club name, the event name, event day, time, and location, along with your club logo, the John Jay logo, and the SAA logo. Our last step, which is step 6, is combining into a packet. Before sending the documents to CSIL, please combine all documents into a single packet. The order should be put in as follows, which is the check request first. Second is the off-campus student travel approval form. Third is your event request form for online student liability waiver. And lastly is your event flyer. After following all these steps, you should now have a completed travel packet. Please send all packets to your CSIL coordinator. And as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can be reached by phone, by email, or you can come in person to the CSIL office. And for more how-to videos for all of your other paperwork needs, please refer to our website. Thank you.